Hello on the Rockers. On this episode, we kick off Pride Month by slaying it. Get it? Slaying it? With a deep dive into the Buffyverse with fan favorites from Buffy and Angel, Amber Benson, J. August Richards, and Stephanie Romanov right before they hit West Hollywood Pride Parade and revisit Sunnydale High at Hellmouth Con. We're going to talk about it all with my co-host, model musician Stephen Dehler, and me, your sassy host with the sassy most. Buttons and bows and pantyhose. It's on the rocks.
The place where we're too glam to give a damn. Raise a glass.
It's on the rocks.
Thank you for being
Boulevard.
Life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death.
I'd like to propose a toast.
This is On the Rocks with Alexander, where I drink with your favorite celebrities as we talk about fashion, entertainment, pop culture, reality TV, and, well, that's about it. So pop a cork, lean back, and raise a glass to On the Rocks.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Bumpy ride.
A bumpy ride with people flying through the air. Welcome to the show. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at On the Rocks On Air, and on Facebook, On the Rocks Radio Show. Send us an email, book us for a pride, wedding, funeral, quinceanera, bris. We don't care. We'll show up. Info at ontherocksradioshow.com. Also send us your comments, your guest requests, and your guest questions.
Yes, this show is presented by Straw Hat Media. You can watch and or listen to every one of our over 400 episodes at ontherocksradioshow.com, YouTube, Facebook Watch, and I Love Gay LGBTQ, and Bear World Magazine.
Right. Okay, before we do a deep dive, this episode is very special to you.
Well, yes.
We all know I'm a Star Trek nerd. That's like my thing.
Buffy shirt on.
Yes, we see those muscle titties. Okay. But Buffy and Angel, like, the Buffyverse is a big part of your life.
Yeah, that was like my performative years. I started watching and I watched it all through high school, and they kind of
Oh, you finished high school?
No,
I'm kidding.
Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Stephanie. Yeah, I did. We finished high school. I did not kill my principal and my mayor.
Right?
Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't see the show. They do that in the show.
Okay. But what is it about the show that you like subscribe to so much?
I don't know. Like I said, it was like performative years, like watching Buffy, watching the characters, and then going on to Angel, and like Cordelia, and went out there and was working on her career, and just the progression of everyone. It was so well written, and then like it mirroring, real life problems. Like you might have not really got it when you were watching it, but then it sort of really reflected in how you received it. So, I mean, there's a reason why people resonate with it so much still today, and that, damn, I want this reboot to happen. I can't believe it didn't go through, but...
Can I just say, sometimes I didn't get it while we were shooting it. And it was years later, sometimes seeing the episodes when I go, oh my God, that's what that was about.
Yeah.
So
definitely have questions for you about that. For that. Yeah. But yeah, it's very, like I said, I was sixth grade when I first saw Buffy, and that ended when I was, I think, a junior.
Sixth grade.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh my gosh. I sort of remember. I think I was like 5 or 4.
Yeah. You were just a twinkle in your mom's eye.
Oh man. But it's interesting you say that, because it's one of the things, and as Jay just said, that the fans have let us know like how prominent and how prescient and how much it mattered to all the young fans, and the things they were hitting on that we didn't realize and I most certainly didn't realize as Lila how important it was to so many people. And then when you find out, you're just so grateful.
Yeah, I was still in the closet when I was watching. I mean, I was in high school.
You.
I was still in the closet when I was watching.
We're going to get there, J. August.
I didn't mean you as in you. I meant you as in we'll get there.
But no, because so when, the Willa Tara storyline started to happen, and then also like people in my life were not receptive to that. So I got to watch like their reactions to it, which was also made my life more trepidatious in the sense of like, okay, maybe I should not.
Because you're kind of looking for permission from your family, right? And
their reactions to the media, to that storyline kind of is like, okay, well, if they're reacting that way to that, then they're going to react that way to me.
Yeah, it becomes very personal. So I feel what they were advocating, and if you think so as well, what they were advocating on both shows, I think helped a lot of LGBTQ people, which I didn't realize either when I was doing it. And only till a couple of years ago when I started doing conventions again, that the fans like, do you know that you have a huge I'm like, I do? Fantastic.
I was like, she's fierce. When I was like just me being like a 15-year-old gay boy being like, I was like, this lawyer. I was like, screw Leslie. Like, I was just like, no, I want her. I want Lila. She's cool.
But it was very poignant to hear that and to know that we and the writers and Mayor Smith, I want to give a shout out to, who wrote me, and the people who wrote and Buffy and that stuff. Huge. Like, they must have known what they were doing.
Yeah. So there you go.
All right, well, let's formally introduce our guest for today. Stephanie Romanov making her On the Rocks debut. And is that like the best name, or what is it? 1940s Russian spy.
I was about to say Russian spy.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I was going to say? I'm a Russian Mormon from Las Vegas.
That's a lot.
Like, if
That is-
like a Mexican-American Catholic from Orange County. Is that right?
Yeah, you got them all. Yeah.
So,
She's a sidekick.
boy, we got to talk.
Yeah.
And I am a sidekick, too.
No, like that's really what he is. He's
No, I'm not a psycho.
No, but
I'm a
I am
psycho.
too.
no,
me too.
from
That's
Orange
what I always
County.
say,
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. We'll talk later.
Yeah.
Wait, you know
All
what?
right.
Cheers. On the
Cheers.
rocks.
Cheers for that.
J. August.
Just like, I'm the designated driver. Stephanie enjoyed a lucrative career in modeling at a young age and left the runway for Hollywood, making an appearance on Melrose Place that led to a stint on Aaron Spelling's Models, Inc.
A stint. I was the lead.
Yes, you were.
Yes.
You
We're
were
going to talk all about it. And the Buffyverse knows her, of course, as Lila Morgan for 4 seasons on Angel. On film, she's appeared in such movies as Spired with Leslie Nielsen. She played Jacqueline Kennedy in the critically acclaimed 13 Days and appeared in The Final Cut alongside Robin Williams. In addition to acting, she's devoted her time to art, philanthropy, and family. She's also a fierce ally. Please welcome Stephanie Romanov.
Woo! What a beautiful, beautiful introduction. Thank you very much.
Of course.
What a beautiful career.
Yes.
Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you. It's been unexpected, you know, where we all come from and where we get to. We never know, like, what leads to what. Like, I hear that you started out at Citibank.
Yes. I was a banker.
A banker.
Wow.
And do you
Terrible
know,
banker.
you were the
Wow.
youngest VP of Citibank. Well, I was one of the youngest people to join Citibank, and I lied and said I was 18 and I was 15.
Wow. I probably opened up your account.
That's what I
Okay,
Too little kid.
I think I'm just a little bit older than you. Just a little bit. But I thought, oh, that's something we have in common.
Yes. That is funny. All right, also joining the party is J. August Richards, a stage and screen actor, got his first screen break on The Cosby Show, went on to guest appearances on shows like Jag and Chicago Hope. The Buffyverse knows J. August as Charles Gunn on all 5 seasons of Angel. He went on to play Deathlock on the superhero series Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And he loves wearing a lawyer suit because he also appeared in Conviction, Raising the Bar, and Notorious. His long list of credits include Grey's Anatomy, West Wing, Moesha, Vampire Academy, The Mentalist, Arrow, and more and more and more. Both J. August and Stephanie and our later guest, Amber, stay tuned for that, will be appearing this weekend at the West Hollywood Pride Parade on Sunday, and they will be making an appearance at the popular Hellmouth Con when Sunnydale becomes
We'll
reality
see you there.
on June 13th and 14th at Torrance High School in SoCal. Please welcome Stephanie and J. August.
Otherwise known as Sunnydale High.
Yes. High is right. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
So before we get into your careers, because I want your origin stories. You know, every character has an origin story, so we're gonna get to that. I'm a huge Star Trek nerd. We know the Buffyverse has diehard fans. What do you love about meeting the fans at cons like Hellmouth, and what do you hear from your fans about your presence in the whole Buffyverse?
I feel the thing that I love the most about cons is it's like going backstage after opening night of a performance on a play. When you do a play, you get that immediate, connection with the audience right after your performance. So meeting people all over the world talking about Buffy and Angel, it's like you learn how much it landed for them and how much it meant for them. When you're here at the Paramount lot right around the corner shooting it, you don't really know how it's landing for people. Like the things that you've just said, really mean something, in a lot of ways, especially to me right now. But yeah, it's a really emotional experience, and it's very gratifying meeting the people who watched the show all these years.
And new generations too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The funny thing is when I started doing cons for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there would be parents who were, closer to my age with their kids, and they'd say,
they'd be like,
we know you from Angel,
Yeah.
but the kids know you from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I thought that was the coolest thing. It just made me feel so good when people said that.
May
two
I
huge
interject
franchises.
something?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
of course.
it's just not fair, and I think it comes from the Angelverse, but this man has not aged from Angel to Agents of
because I know what you said.
And
Yeah,
that's why, right?
Well, I know you said that if...
No, it's like, thank your
You
parents.
neither, though.
You're right.
You neither.
Come on,
Yes.
bro.
Come on,
You
work
both
it
look
out.
amazing.
Work it out.
Stop it!
Who, me?
That's going to be him at 80. It's going to be what you just did.
For real life. And I also believe, like, to both of our credit and to all of our credit, I think it's the joie de vivre that we have as people, that's also part of it.
Yes,
I would
that's
say
the type of
so.
energy that
definitely.
keeps you.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, because I know that you said that like if Angel did have a season 6, you would want to become a vampire, and then I think you became a vampire.
Well, thank you. He does become a vampire in the comic books,
I
apparently.
know. Yes.
So-
Who
I know,
says that
I know, and I know
August
you did the comic books
isn't?
too. Like,
Who
I looked up a
says
little
he
bit. Do
isn't a
we consider
vampire?
that canon? Do we consider it canon?
That's a really good question. And
does that
I don't
mean?
think meaning is it like the empirical truth of what happened.
Oh, what
And
a
I
beautiful.
would say,
Thank you.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
just pulled that one right
that was
out.
great. That was
Really well
great.
done. Thank you.
I was like,
But I would say that it's not canon. I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I think until we go back to that set, like for me, that character, I left him behind in that alleyway on that final episode, said goodbye to him there.
Mhm.
And if I get to say hello to him again, it'll be from that point on, presumably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
how cool would that be? Oh my gosh. Remember when Lila was dead and talking to Wesley? What if it was
Yes.
you coming back and like talking to your own self?
Oh.
That could be a gun talking
We
to
did
gun.
something like that in the White Room.
Yeah, the Right Room. You had an
Yeah.
episode about that already.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'd do it again.
I mean, I knew that.
And how was shooting that? Was that like, 'cause that was like a new type of thing for that character to go
Yeah.
through?
That was a breakthrough moment for me as an actor in terms of like taking direction because Joss directed that episode and we kept doing that character, the White Room character, like so many times. And he kept going like, give me a little more Southern Baptist preacher. Give me a little Lawrence Fishburne. Give me a little this. And he just kept picking at it.
Did you understand
until
what that meant? All
I
those
did.
Oh.
And then when it landed, when it hit and I felt it and they felt, it was like we all cheered because it was like a victory, you know.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
When you got it,
One of
when you
my-
got it exactly the way.
Yes,
that's
exactly
awesome.
the way he saw it in his head.
That is so beautifully put, and also
you.
how you felt it in your body.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that was beautifully
Thank
put. He is a wordsmith. He is a wordsmith. And
I know
so
you
am
just,
I.
you just explained what canon is in
Yeah, I
like,
feel
a
like-
quick
Oh my gosh,
sentence.
like,
I was like,
I
I would have been
almost
like, it's real.
Listen, sometimes I search for words so long, but they came to my rescue that time.
Well, not today because you're hitting it like this.
Yes.
Thank you, Fran.
You're hitting it like gun. J. August.
J. August, I like saying that.
I
know,
like it.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
got a
yeah.
beautiful rhythm. J.
It rolls off the tongue.
Okay. J.
August.
August.
Yes. Peter on
Something
stage.
sexy about it.
Yes. I
Right?
loved it.
Right?
All right, so let's get into your origin stories.
Yes.
Stephanie, born in Vegas.
That's correct.
But at a very early age, you're discovered as a model. You're rushed off to Europe and New York.
I love like that you read some on the internet. That's not exactly true.
Well, then tell us the story,
yeah.
because the Hollywood story is you were discovered by elite models, and then you were whisked away to work
It's
in Europe.
sort of true.
Okay, well,
Do you
tell
know how everything is kind of sort of true?
Yes.
So there is a bit of truth to that. So my origin story, I'm a Russian woman from Las Vegas. And both of y'all know what it's like growing up religious. And I was also a dancer from a very early age and a performer. So I started dancing at 3 and I did gymnastics and then I did ballet, tap and jazz, but I loved ballet 5 days a week. And I also babysat and blah, 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 blah.
That's how you knew to fall. The ballet.
Hello.
Stephanie had a bit of a spill before the show, by
Just
the
so I
way.
can be clear, ballet isn't like this. Ballet is this.
There you go, yes.
Mother. But anyhow, my point is, so I was always working really hard and my family was in poverty, but not because my dad didn't make money. It's because my dad was a gambler.
In Vegas, of all places.
Ooh.
No,
Right,
it was
back
horrible.
home.
Now
Yeah.
when I see the gambling online and everything you can do, it hurts my feelings so much because I saw how we suffered.
Yeah.
And I remember in ballet school, it was very much cliques, like the rich girls and the poor girls. And I was always with the older girls because I was always super tall. And I remember like doing like I'm stretching and they're like talking about what their dad's doing. I'm like, that's what my dad does. So then I figured that out and I was like, okay, I have to work extra hard. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. But then I got really tall, and I knew that I couldn't be a professional ballet dancer unless I wanted to be in the back, and Lila doesn't hang in the back. And I never thought about modeling. I was never a fashionista. My sister had a modeling magazine, or a magazine that it has models in it, whatever. And I saw it. I was like, you have to be 5'9". I was 13. I'm like, I'm 5'9". You have to be this, and then you have to have wide set eyes. So I go to my mom. I'm like, do I have wide set eyes? She's like, I don't know. So I worked for 2 years babysitting to make money to get photos, to send it to Elite, who they didn't discover. I mean, they discovered me, but I sent them the photos. And then John Casablanca came and met me. And then I was flown to New York. And then I immediately got a job to do Italian and French Bazaar.
You booked.
But that's the point. Girl. Like, I think what I don't like about the origin story is girls think that you're just going to be discovered.
Yeah, right. It's not about that. It's like you had to put your foot in that place in order to be.
Thank you.
But it also shows the fortitude not only did you have for your own life, but you wanted to better, the whole family situation. What young person nowadays, and I'm not speaking about all the young people, but who nowadays has that fortitude?
Them days, they didn't.
Their own thing happen.
They didn't either. Like, we all have something in us that drove us towards that, right? So the only reason I didn't mean to take up so much time to clarify that is that there's a lot, and this is what I tell. The only reason I clarify that because it's about to be my daughter, Lily Andrea Romanov Wexler, her 21st birthday, and I tell her, hard work and opportunity and luck. So if you work really and being able to pivot. So I always wanted to be a ballet dancer. I pivoted to modeling. I don't know why. But I never loved it because I was never like a fashion person, but it gave me lots of opportunity. So I just have always looked for opportunity where I could find it, right?
But you're like an Elle, Vanity Fair, French Vogue, like
American Vogue, every kind of Vogue.
Gorgeous.
No. At L'Oreal, I had major campaigns, and I stopped right when I was about to really hit because I never really wanted to be a big model. I wanted to be an actress.
Wow.
So when did that transition?
I moved from New York at 21 or 2. They couldn't believe it. They're like, "You're going to leave now?" And it was right in the beginning of the night. The 2000s.
So you're like, you're on top, just deciding to leave.
Yeah. Well, not even quite. Like, I was about to get on top.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, because once you do that, and you know this, like, or you guys know this, like when you're going towards something, that's not what it ideally you want, but it's opening doors for you. And my feeling was, if I don't go to California now, I'm never going to have the opportunity to be an actor. So I moved here with the intention of being an actor, and my agents in New York were furious. They're like, what? And I thought, okay, I could make millions of dollars allegedly if I become this big fashion model, or I can become an actress. And I thought, well, I'm making enough money that I would rather be an actress.
Yeah.
And not to say that there's anything wrong with being a multi-millionaire model.
Right.
Sometimes, do I ever regret it? No. Not ever.
But you were in the modeling scene at such a young age.
15.
And going to New York and Europe, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
We also know there's an underbelly to the modeling world that you can get swept up in.
Honey, you only think you know. Oh my goodness. And it was so much worse than, gratefully, because that Lila bitch, hold on, I'm not bossy, I'm just the fairy in charge.
She got that role for a reason.
But I was like that at 15.
Yeah.
And I was not like the other girls. And I don't know why I was fearless. Not everyone in my family was fearless, but I just was born that way. I was rushing towards something.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Right?
I love that.
So, but I wasn't afraid, and I wasn't afraid to say no to power. And they hated, oh my gosh, they hated me. They tried to blackball me. It was crazy.
And they couldn't manipulate you either.
Exactly. Sorry,
Wow.
am I allowed to vape on this show?
Yeah.
It's nicotine, and at least I don't smoke anymore. Here's to the vodka. Oh, and by the way, I hear you actually like tequila.
I do.
So I stopped by. I actually
Wow.
was
Oh my God.
walking
She comes
down
from
the road.
where?
Wow.
I was walking down
On
the
her
road.
scavenger hunt around the building.
I was walking down the road, tripped, and hurt myself to get you this.
But she saved the
Taking
bottle.
you out for you. Since you're the Angel Buffy fan.
I know. Yes. I got my power shirt on.
And what'd you bring me?
Oh my God. Wait.
Do you know what it's like
We're not
co-hosting with
done
this
yet.
one? It's so beautiful.
No, we're not done yet. I got stuff for you.
I love that.
No, but I'm not kidding.
And
Well, now I'm gonna have to switch it up.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
I
please
don't
mix.
remember what we were talking about. But my point being is sometimes I hate the way it's out there that like, oh, I was discovered and it was so easy. No,
You
I
made that
worked
shit
really
happen.
hard.
Yeah.
Well, I also got lucky. And I tell my daughter, you work really hard and you hope to get lucky.
And your daughter is gorgeous.
Thank
Has
you.
she ever expressed interest in getting in modeling or acting?
Oh, I'm so grateful that you did your research. My daughter is a model.
Oh, okay. Well, she's gorgeous. I mean, I saw her Instagram. I'm like, okay, model.
That was meant to be funny, but not I think I got
Not
my
after I didn't get a bottle of tequila or my own vodka. I think.
He's still
Say
down
that
about
you
the
like
tequila.
tequila.
Right.
He's just
Oh,
like,
now I feel bad.
No, I can't do
But
tequila.
can you cut
No, he
that
can't.
out? Okay,
He's-
well,
he's-
that's why.
According to the government.
I knew,
Yeah.
No, I have a lot more personal stuff about you.
No.
I mean, it's not stuff I want to talk about.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello. Stuff I don't want to talk about. I heard that you've been writing a book. Stuff I don't want to talk about for years that you haven't. Oh, look at him looking
How do you know
confused.
that?
How do you know that?
I'm Lila, bitch.
I was like, you know what? She had those lawyer connections from the TV
Now
show.
I'm scared. Like, what else do you know?
Well,
Do you know what I did yesterday?
Well,
that true?
I don't know that I want to talk about it.
So she put cameras
Nice.
in your apartment.
I don't want to
OnlyFans.
talk about it, but you know what? Well, the powers that be, I had them look into you. And they mentioned, like, have you seen the show? The powers that be is what runs Lila.
Yeah, it's
It's a character
Oh, okay.
thing. Okay, so fans out there, you know what the powers that be
Yeah,
mean.
we
And
know.
they mention things I don't want to talk about. And I thought of all the things I don't want to talk about. And I was like, Sugar Man, let's do it together.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff I don't want to talk about. So I didn't bring you tequila, but I brought you soul.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Drink your tequila. I got
Right, I
salt.
will.
But I do want to hear about that. Are you still working on it?
I've paused. There's been a lot of stuff happening. We've been so busy with the show.
Yeah.
But it's always there. You know how it's that project. You're like, oh, I should sit and do 10 minutes, and I should sit and.
And
do
so
10
how
minutes
many
and
years have you worked on it?
Oh God, like 10 years.
And how many stories have you been willing to write down?
I haven't finished one.
Oh, see,
I've started
that's,
a bunch of them, but yeah.
you know what, but that's also beautiful. You started a bunch of them, and when you're ready,
Yeah.
you'll get to the meat of it. And if you want, I have a bunch of stories I don't want to tell, and maybe we could write them together.
Okay. We'll make a musical.
Oh my God, I would love that. Wait, hold up. Did somebody say musical?
Yes. Great. Yes, we got the boa.
Should be the next Chicago. All right, Jay August, let's get to your origin story.
No, I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to talk.
So acting was just in your blood.
Yes.
You grew up in Maryland. You knew very early on you wanted to be an actor. You studied it in high school. You got a scholarship to USC. What kind of sparked that interest? Was it a movie you saw when you were a kid, or how did this come about?
God, that's such a good question. I mean, I feel like from the minute my mother sat me down in front of a television, I wanted to crawl inside of it and be a part of that world. I think it was because what I was seeing on TV was so different than the environment I came up in. And so Three's Company was that show that made me feel like I want to be where they are. So when I learned that the show took place in California and that it was actually shot in California, I decided that California was the only place where I wanted to be. So I applied to USC, which was the only school I applied to, and
You were
found
just
my
set
way
on
to
it.
California.
Yeah.
I was
That's
set
a
on
hard
it.
school.
It is a hard school.
And a scholarship too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy because the other day I woke up kind of feeling like unclear about life and direction and stuff like that. And then I did a podcast and we went through my entire story and I told them about how I saw the Cosby Show and thought, this is a show that I belong on. So I read the credits. I found out who the casting director was. I got
How
his
old were you at
information,
that time?
14.
Wow.
I got his information. I flew to New York. I stalked him and I got myself on the show. And so in telling that story and all the other stories, I was reminded of how clear I've always been as a person and realized that even if in that moment the other day I didn't feel clear, I always am clear. Yeah.
I have to tell you, while I was preparing the script, I was watching reruns of Three's Company in the background. I'm
No
not even
way.
lying. I'm not even lying.
Oh my God.
How crazy is
That
that?
is crazy.
Sarah?
Yeah.
May I interrupt for
Yeah.
1 second? Because Jay August has done quite a few moments on his Instagram talking about coincidences. And are they coincidences? And this is a beautiful coincidence.
It is.
And your
Yeah.
fans will know what I'm talking about. And you
Yeah.
can expound on it if you feel.
I'll let them steer the interview.
Well, that's the difference between Lala. I swear I'm gonna shut up.
No.
But you seem to like you know what you want and you go get it. Which I think is such an important. We have a lot of entertainment people that watch the show, and it's so important. It's like, no, you aren't just discovered. No, nobody's gonna knock on your door.
Right.
You have to hustle. You have to hit the streets. You got to do it all. And you did so much theater.
Thank you. Can I say this in relationship to that too? As a young actor, I saw what was happening for the actors on the WB. And, I just moved to LA. I just graduated from USC, and they were pulling stars from the WB and putting them in features. So in the conversation about clarity and going after what you want, I very clearly targeted the WB.
Right.
I was network tested for a show called Popular to play the lead character.
Which was a very white network.
Exactly. And so the funny thing was they were doing the sort of any ethnicity thing at that time. So I tested for Popular to play the most popular kid in school. Mm-hmm. And I destroyed that network test. Something just came over me. I was young, I was nervous, but I just really found my footing in that room. And back then, you would audition with all of the executives, the president of the network, everyone. There were so many people in the room.
And all the other actors that could hear you.
They were in the lobby. And I killed it so bad that I didn't get the role because at that time they weren't ready to cast I don't think that they were ready to cast a black actor as the lead on the, as the most popular kid in school. So they saw me for a number of other roles, and then fortunately, that's how I booked Angel.
Well, that leads to my question, because I wrote down that Buffy suffered from what a lot of 90s television shows suffered through, which was lack of diversity, like Friends and things like that. Yeah. So my question for you is as a black man walking into the Buffyverse and becoming what was it like that audition process? Because did you know that it was just going to be one or two spots?
After I booked the role, people said to me, if you make it through the whole season, you'll be the first person of color to make it through the entire season.
Wow. Oh, I didn't even
after
realize
all
that.
these years, when we had the 20th anniversary and they had the 20th anniversary of Buffy, they had all the series regulars on the cover, and then they did all the series regulars of Angel. I was the only person of color on both covers.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was a different world back then, which is so interesting to me because having lived through many iterations of Hollywood, you hear about the complaints about diversity now. And it's like, it really wasn't long ago when I was, the only person of color on two shows on the WB.
Right.
Now, I don't say that with any sort of malice in my heart toward the people that I worked with, the people that hired me. I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful to the NAACP who made it possible for me to get that role. Because the previous pilot season, there were no African-American series regulars on any show, on any network. The NAACP formed a deal with all of the networks to say, on a returning show, you must add a person of color. So that ended up being me on Angel. Now, I'm not, I made it sound maybe like there was some arm twisting involved, but I think we were more in a space where people weren't thinking about it.
Right.
So the NAACP just made them think about it.
Yeah.
May I interject 1 second on this? Because as a white woman who was around during this time, I know it's difficult to tell, but also someone who's very aware, who's grew up with very diverse people and definitely noticed all of this stuff. And it was confounding and confusing. And I remember, I didn't know that you were the first one to have that happen. And I'm so grateful I get to know it now. But I most certainly knew back then that it wasn't cool and that it was finally being brought to attention. And I love that you're bringing it up. Yeah. And I celebrate
that. They brought it up, which was
I meant your journey to there, because all of us need the journey and the origin story, right?
Yeah.
But you also set the precedent for the rest of your career and the type of roles that you played. You've always played people of power, and we know, even growing up, when I was doing the acting thing, if you were Mexican or black, you had to play a drug dealer.
Yeah.
You had to be very Mexican, or you weren't Mexican enough. Or if you were in a horror film, you were the first ones to die.
Or you had to create your own stuff like Cheech and Chong.
Right. Well, that also brings me back to how did that feel for you as to your introduction? For Charles Gunn's introduction, it was sort of like he was an inner city, person that was like fighting that that inner city fight? Like, how did it feel for you having to represent that, but also being like, okay, now I'm representing everyone right now?
Yes, and let's take that point just one step further. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Let's take that step just one step further. Now, as you know, my family's from Panama, right? So I grew up in a Spanish-speaking household, right?
Jaime Augusto.
Jaime Augusto is my real name.
That's all.
So, there's another level of representation that I would love to unlock next in the next phase of my career, which is, I would never be considered for a Latino role. They would never cast an Afro-Latino actor in a Latino series or somebody who was from Panama, so that is something that I would love to try to find space for in the next stages of my career.
Maybe something that's related to Miles Morales, because isn't he Afro-Latino?
He is, yeah, absolutely.
So maybe like an uncle.
Yeah, definitely. Or, or something else, something of my own creation.
Exactly.
Because I feel like that's where things are moving. But to answer your question about representation, it was very important to me. There were things that I added to the character that I felt like would be recognizable to people who look like me watching the show, like the do-rag and certain other things that the style, I worked with the costume designer on that. And so, I just thought it would be really powerful if people who kind of grew up in places where I grew up could sort of see themselves represented on a fantasy show.
Did you appreciate the progression of the character throughout how much input did you have in that? Because I'm sure they probably none.
I mean, not really. No, they are a very strong room. They have a very strong vision. But one very amazing thing that Joss did for me, which ended up being a gift in my career, was that last season I was made a lawyer, right?
Yes, right.
And so I wore suits for first half of the season.
Didn't you have like a procedure that made you super smart?
Exactly. In the white room where my character had that scene with himself. And so the gift of that was that the industry got to see me in a totally different way. And in this town, I mean, I think it goes for every actor, the way people see you is how they continue to cast you. So I ended up doing 3 or 4 legal shows, maybe 6 or 7 legal shows after that, because I was set up to do that. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I feel like the show set me up to do that.
I want to ask you both, do you have any trepidation in coming on a show like Angel? Because it has a certain style of acting. It also is a specific genre, which is kind of campy. It's supernatural. Were you afraid of being typecast by joining a show like this?
I have a thought. Sorry, I don't normally speak. So
she's so timid.
Even Helen Keller is like, no, girl. We hear you.
I'm so timid. Well, sorry.
Don't blush. It's okay.
No, I'm not blushing. I'm just super happy you asked. So I never thought about being typecast. I never thought about being represented, to be honest. I just wanted a job.
I think Amber said the same thing.
I mean, I feel for J. August, it's different. And for people of different races who are not Caucasian, especially at that time, you're not, even though I had Caucasian actors say to me, like, oh, now that like it has to be Mexican or Black, I'm like, and I was like, yeah, hello. Like, we should all be represented because we all live here. But for me personally, I just wanted a job. But when the Angel audition came up, I hadn't seen Angel and I was working on other stuff, and I was also still modeling because acting doesn't pay as well as modeling. So unless you become a series regular.
Or a really good model, damn.
However, so when I went into the room, you were asking about the audition experience.
Yeah.
So I wasn't thinking about representation. I didn't have that same kind of heaviness or that same kind of blocks, and like they just said, like pretty white girls, like, okay, pretty white girl.
Like,
and so I went, well, maybe, I don't know. It's still odd as a woman, and it's still odd as a woman, the way that you're treated, the way you're treated in the room, all of that. But I remember going to the room, and I just went on a big modeling job, and then I got this thing. It's just to do 2 episodes of Angel. And it was this character, Lila, and she's this like badass lawyer, whatever. Like, what do I know about well, I know a little bit more, but whatever. But I didn't know. And the guy I was dating at the time loved Angel. He was a huge fan. And it just so happened.
He's no gay.
It's me. I've always liked men who are a little gay.
Me too.
No, you like men who are a lot of gay. But however, my point being is that then it happened to air an episode of Angel the night before my audition. Oh. So that was fortuitous, right? So I'm also a wordsmith. Sorry.
Let's not get crazy.
Coming from you, I haven't even gotten started. But my point being, so then I got to see that episode. And then I had like, you know, how it is with auditions, especially back then, they send you like 50 million pages. You got 3 hours and then show up in the room with all the producers and be fantastic. So I get in the room and it's got Joss, it's got all the other producers, it's got the director. And if you all know, like on TV, the directors, they're always moving. Like they're not really, it's the writers and the producers who are whatever. So I do my audition, which did not go over well. And the director, I swear to you guys, gave me 50 million notes. He was like, could you do the blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting there. I didn't even know it was Lila mode. Turns out it was built for the role. And so I listened to all of it and I was like, wow, so you want me to do this and this? And he's like, and he starts explaining. And I was like, I was just kidding. The whole room exploded in laughter. And that's how I got the job.
Nice.
That's how you turn it around.
Nice.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But that
But
was
don't you
just
love
fortunate.
that when we were in the room, it was moments like that security
they saw
of the
the
role.
character in you because of that.
These camera
What I
auditions
love
are
so
for
much,
the
because
birds.
Jay and
For
I
the
have
birds.
Do you guys
discussed
miss
this
that? Do you guys miss
before.
being in person doing that? Because I know, because we were talking to Julie about that too. She's just like, I miss being in the room and then being in like and waiting with the other actors.
And Jay and I
everything's
just
remote
had
now.
a conversation about this and how much that we miss being in the room. And because I
100%.
haven't been back into acting for a couple of decades, but I understand how important, because I was saying to my daughter and to another friend of mine or a friend of hers who's an actor, I was like, you have to use, and I had a very wise actor tell this to me, don't look at it as an audition, look at it as an opportunity to perform. So because it's been so many years that I'm out of the thing, I said, like, just look at it to perform. And like, but I'm filming myself. I'm like, oh, rats, that doesn't work anymore.
There's an energy that's missing.
There's a distance.
Can I ask Jay a question? So how do we address that to the young actors? Like, how do we tell them it's an opportunity to perform when
The
you have
young
no one
actors
there?
love self-tape because
Social
there's
media.
I'll
They can do over.
Listen,
over,
exactly, and maybe I'll be a hair shady, but there is a social awkwardness there a little bit to where it's safer to be home alone doing a scene by yourself rather than having to be on the spot in front of people, having to deliver once, maybe twice. It's scarier for them, especially if you didn't come up on it. There is nothing scarier than an in-person audition. But to me, that fire, what is this show rated? RX, what?
You can do whatever, not X.
Oh, okay, all right, R. Okay.
Unless you want to show us something, Jay August.
My metaphor was going to be a little.
We're getting naked all of a sudden.
My metaphor was going to be a little dicey, but I'll just say the
Give your
fear.
metaphor.
Well, the fear is what. Okay, for me, a self-tape is like trying to have sex with a soft dick.
With a what?
Soft dick.
Oh my God! And she's like,
I thought
what?
he said
Say it again.
Right.
No, I thought he said because
But
as
an
a girl,
in-person audition is a boner,
Yeah.
and you want to just ride it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You have to.
Yes.
That's what it is. It's sex. It's an exchange of energy.
There's a connection there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So you want to deliver that thing in the room, but by yourself, it's just something else.
OnlyFans.
Because also,
Exactly.
but also, may I expound on that? Because I actually think Jay August is making a great point, because we talked about it before, and having been an actor during the time where we had the opportunity, like I hated that I had to drive an hour, that I had to wait an hour,
Parking
had to
would be a
listen.
shit show.
Yeah. I didn't
Sitting with
mind
everybody else in
that,
the
but
room.
yeah.
But the thing I did love was even the nervousness, because the nervousness
Every
feeds
actor
in.
feeds on those nerves.
Yes.
You need that.
It helps.
If you're not nervous, there's a problem.
that's how you also
Exactly.
develop.
I
But
agree.
the biggest thing is that's how you develop a community, because that's you start talking to the other actors that are there.
That's what
That part
Julie
too.
Benson-
And that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing that I think that a lot of younger generations are missing now, is that they're not in the room with other people, and they don't have any actor friends. They don't have anyone that's in their
Exactly.
community, and that's where you built your community. is
Yes.
You're going through the same process, and then you guys talk to each other, and then you guys get each other roles, and you help each other with your audition.
And
Did
that
you
was
get
kind
that
of-
part? What
Right.
was it like working with so and so? Have you ever booked in this room?
And it's just
How
super
many
cool,
people were in there?
right.
Yes.
Or if
And
you're in
then
the same
I
room,
also
also you
had
see like
other
your actor
actors
idol,
say
and
to
there's
me,
like
like,
they're
do you
doing the
know
same
about
thing.
this role? Do you know about that role?
That
So
part.
like kind people
Yeah.
I
would
love that.
tell
You
you
should
It's
talk
the-
about
I
other
think the
stuff.
biggest thing is that the community is what's lost, because now
Yes.
everyone is
Also,
just alone.
If I may interject one more time. Also, but with Broadway actors and people who are stage
they're still doing
performers, but also the interaction with the audience, the interaction, that fear
Yeah.
creates this. Like I said, I fell down right
Adrenaline.
before coming here. I was walking around the block. I fell down. I said, I'm sorry, I need to calm down. But my adrenaline got rushed. But that's what would happen when we would have these auditions. That's what happens when you go on stage. So I have a little, I almost want to have a funeral party for the younger generation, because they don't get to
There's
have
no
that.
They also
adrenaline
don't
when
know
you're
how
at
to
home in
act
front
on
of
set, and
camera.
so it's on the other side too. As a
Say
director,
it.
you don't get to see how an actor interacts with other people. Are they rude to staff? Are they just weird? Can
Can
you
they take
direct
a
them?
note? Right.
That's exactly it.
Exactly. And my other metaphor, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
My
no.
other metaphor about the in-person and the nerves is that for me, the nerves were like a fire, right? And any part of me that came into that fire that was impure got burned away. Meaning if I dropped the line, if I got too nervous to perform, if I lost my way, that let me know that I wasn't ready, that something in my preparation was off. So it also set me up to go to the set, because it gave me valuable information. Okay, I've done it now in front of people. Now when I get on the set, and that's happening a lot too, I'm hearing, is that, people are going to set getting super nervous because
May
they're
I
not
ask
used
you
to...
a question for our younger actors who are
Yes.
having to self-tape a lot? So what do
Yeah.
you suggest helps them to set up for that experience? Because we did get to have that and they don't. And I honestly don't
Yeah.
know. And I'm
That's
curious.
a great question,
Yeah, I don't
and
know
it's something
either.
that they need to
Yeah.
do. But working obviously helps with that. The more you work, the more I would say class,
I was gonna say
acting
acting
class,
class,
which
yeah.
I'm headed
Yeah.
to right
About to
now.
do, yeah.
Exactly.
Ivana
I
Chubbuck,
stay
shout
in
out.
class.
Yeah.
I am always in class between jobs, because I'm always looking for something new to bring to the next role. I don't want to keep repeating myself in every performance I give. I don't want people to say, "Oh, he was the exact same in that as he was in this over here."
Right.
Yeah.
One note.
And can I just
Yeah.
say, and you never are, and you are
Oh,
fantastic.
thank you. So sweet. Come on, Jackie.
Well, I'm
catch
not
it.
so sweet,
Yeah.
but I mean it. I mean it for real.
Thank
Anyway,
you.
sorry. I have to give a
Appreciate
shout out to my
That's
J.
so
August.
sweet.
And we haven't been in a lot of contact or anything. Like, this is for real, like actor to actor,
Yeah.
something that
We
I'm
hung out in
saying.
Paris recently, but
I saw a picture. You guys look like you were
Hey,
laughing.
yeah.
we were
Well,
doing it
you
up.
can see that he and I, we vibe, and we always have, but we didn't really have scenes together or have that much opportunity to hang out on the set of Angel, but
Right.
we got to hang out a bit in Paris, and we had so much fun. And I've always just, I just love someone you don't know why. That's how I feel about J. August.
That's how I feel about you.
So, the both of you are joining the West Hollywood Pride Parade this weekend.
Yes.
Who
Along
gave
with,
it
with
away?
Amber Benson.
Right.
Amber, shout out.
So, J. August, when did you
Yes.
start to kind of realize, like, maybe you weren't like the other boys? When did you start to come into your
Yeah.
sexuality?
Birth.
Yeah, and how did that play into taking on this role, like Charles Gunn?
Well, but also, let's back it up a little bit
Yeah,
more
I
than
was
just
like,
as an
even
actor.
further.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of made the decision, and I understand at the time, being an out gay actor meant you did independent little films and stuff.
Right.
You made the decision to kind of keep your sexuality to yourself.
Yes. And I was, but honestly, in truth, I was working it out for myself as well. Like I often do this thought exercise of like, if I were born today, like who would I have been in high school? Like if I were born today, then in high school I'd have been like, oh yeah, I'm queer, I'm bi, I'm questioning, I'm whatever.
Or fluid, which they use
fluid
a
is
lot.
the word I
Fluid's
probably
And
word.
fluid is a
used.
good one before you know what you want. Like, I mean, I think
Wait,
most
hold on,
gay
let me
people
not lose
know.
my thread. Okay, so I'm gonna.
He's the queer one, girl.
Yes. Okay.
I apologize.
That's okay. Okay.
We love
you,
our
baby.
allies.
Love you. We love our allies. Yes. But no. So so I didn't. The world that I grew up in didn't have space for me to openly have conversation. I mean, it was the world I grew up in was so effed up that, my godfather was gay, but no one used that word.
He just had a roommate.
As
I know exactly.
Right.
I know exactly what
Now, my mother
looks like.
was such a sweetheart. She talked to me like an adult, so she let me know what was up,
Yeah.
But I also had uncles who were gay, and it was so taboo. I think it's almost worse to not talk about what's right in front of your face than it is to, they did have negative things to say about gay people too. If I really go all the way back, I think what set me back, and I love my father always, and I have no negative feelings about my father at all, but I remember when I watched the movie Fame, I was like, the world made sense to me. And I was like, oh my God, I gotta go to a school like that.
Yeah.
And we're watching the movie and my father goes, there's a school like that in DC, because I grew up in Maryland. And I was like, there is? And he goes, yeah, that's where all the go.
Oh.
That's where all the F words go.
Yeah.
So he set you up to hurt you.
No.
Oh, he meant it
he
positively?
tried to protect me in his mind.
Oh,
Right.
I see. I said it wrong.
And I'm not even, I didn't even mean to go that far in
No, but
his
it's good. This is the moment, right?
hold on.
This is the
Hold on,
moment.
hold on. I didn't mean to try to, characterize him in any way. That wasn't the point of my story. The point of my story was that in the world I grew up in, there was no space for me to deal openly and honestly with who I was. And therefore, the message was sent very clearly to me. I also remember at 17, when I was leaving high school, I was in a theater program and everybody knew I was coming to LA to be an actor. And one of my classmates said to me, Jamie, that's what they used to call me, just make sure your first role is not a gay role. These were the messages that I came to
Career
Hollywood
suicide.
with.
Yeah.
These were the, I'd
I
go
mean,
to,
at the time, for sure, yeah.
yeah, I'd go to auditions and the girl in the receptionist would, so-and-so was gay. You know what I mean? So it was the landscape was clearly set for me. I even knew actors who were out, who were not getting opportunities. Now at that time, if I were being honest with myself, I'd probably say, yeah, I'm fluid, I'm bisexual, I'm whatever the case may be. But it really wasn't until about 35 that I thought, I can't not explore who I am for the benefit of fitting into society or my career. This is no longer serving me personally. I'm not falling in love. I'm not having a relationship because I'm not putting my signal out into the world strong enough. I think that my closetedness is blocking me from love. So I was like, all right, I got to give this the good college try. All right, I'm going to live my life openly and I'm going to let the chips fall where they may. Well, what I did not know was that Hollywood is so segregated that if you're a black gay, you can be a black gay, go to gay parties, have boyfriends, do all, and white people will never find out. So I was kind of living dangerously, meaning I had boyfriends, I would bring boyfriends places and do things, but nobody was putting it together. Because also a lot of it was because I was doing it over here for the most part.
When did that start? When were you
when I was 35.
Okay.
When I was 35 is when I said, okay, I got to really give this the good college try.
Yeah.
And so it was enough until it wasn't. Meaning, here comes this great opportunity, Council of Dads, and I have now watched a few of my colleagues try to remain in the closet while playing a gay role, and it tore them apart. And I was not going to do that to myself. And I was not going to sit in those interviews and have my heart racing. Oh my God, I hope they don't ask me if I'm gay. Oh my God, I hope they don't ask me. I wasn't going to do that to myself. And I'm so proud of myself because I was like, that was a real act of self-love. And so oddly enough, I made a deal with myself. If anybody asks me, what's my connection to the role in the press or whatever, at the upfronts, whatever, I'm going to tell the truth. But then COVID came and all of the press got canceled. And my soul was already dying to do it.
Because you're ready.
I was ready because I had to tell the cast, I had to tell the writers, I had to tell the crew because I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to move to Savannah and try to be in the closet while playing this openly gay man. And I wanted to give the performance of a lifetime, as I always do. Anytime I get in front of the camera, I'm trying to knock your head off. Anytime I'm on screen, I want to give a performance that you will never forget. Have I accomplished that ever? Probably not, but I'm striving for it. And I knew I wasn't going to get it if I was holding myself back. So COVID comes, no press, no nothing. I'm doing a live with one of my castmates. The producers asked me to interview all of my castmates. I did, and I got to the last interview. Second to the last, which was the star of the show, Sarah Wayne Callies. And she sent me the question she was going to ask me the night before. I had the opportunity to say, don't ask me that one. But it was the exact question I promised myself I would answer honestly. So I didn't tell her I was going to. We did the thing. She asked. I answered. She was shocked. If you ever watch the thing again, look at her face.
Will you repeat where it is that I find that?
It's on my Instagram.
Oh, okay. I'm so grateful you're telling this story.
March 2020, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe, March. I think that's when, it was right after March, I guess May, something like that.
Okay.
So,
That was your first big public statement.
It was. Yeah. And it was profound what happened after, so.
And what, may I ask, do you guys mind?
You go ahead.
So when you, like the moment before you made that statement, there was all that thought and there was all this opportunity that suddenly went away. So there's also that moment, which you guys know, that moment of kind of truth where, okay, I need to tell my truth and this is my moment to do it. So how did you feel the moment before and how did you feel the moment after?
So we were all doing at home Zooms, right? So I'm slightly kind of sad to recall this, but if that were my camera that I'd set up, when on the day of the interview, I put all of these signs on the wall behind the camera, all these affirmations to give myself the strength and the courage to do it. Just all the truths that I had stumbled upon in playing this role and how far I had come. And because I didn't want to turn back. I knew I could if I wanted to in that moment, but I had to remind myself to do it. And after I did, I walked around the block and I just started laughing hysterically. I had turned my phone off. I just wanted to have a moment for myself. And then I turned it on to like 100 messages, 1,000 text messages.
It's that scary moment. It's like post and you're just like.
And then you just don't want to, you don't want the wave. You just want to just breathe for a minute. I get that for sure.
Exactly. But I did feel an opening.
Like a release,
world.
right? Like your heart opens up and now you're able to receive stuff that you've never been able to receive before. And being a proud member of the loving everybody gay bi, I'm definitely in that spectrum, but I've also witnessed your journey, many, many other people's journey. And it's been heartbreaking to see how tough it is. And that's why, and I didn't mean to interrupt you guys, that I said, like, what was it like for you the moment before and the moment after? And my agenda with that was for all the other men and women who are still in that moment before, that the moment after, I love that you said was there was joy. There's many prominent actors
now that we're just like, that still aren't doing it, like it's still very much a fear. Everyone always thinks that Hollywood's so liberal and progressive, and it's really not.
It is so not.
Exactly. I couldn't agree with you more.
Ellen DeGeneres was the person who got me my first manager, who got me into acting.
Wow.
Yeah, and
I was on the Ellen. I did the Ellen show for. I was on the Shirtless Guys for years.
Oh wow.
Me too.
Let's see you shirtless.
Right. I was gonna say.
I love how you stuck your tongue out. I don't know what that means. My daughter and her friends do it all the time, so I do it too. I'm like, why are we sticking our tongues out? I don't know. And then I thought, wait. No. I have an actual thought, because I am a spiritual person like you.
Now?
No, not just now. The New Zealanders, when they do that dance and that they're powerful, the haka, yes, they do that. So it's a sign of power.
How hard did you fall?
Which time, motherfucker?
I love my people.
For real life, because I used to live in Australia and I used to date a New Zealander.
Oh, that makes sense now.
I'm not saying that I just fell down, but I did think about, because I have a daughter and all of her guy friends, because she has mostly guy friends, and some are gay, some are straight, some are bi, some are and my daughter's bi, and Lily, you're welcome.
So you're out now.
Right.
She's like, oh yeah.
Okay,
she's
good.
totally okay.
Good.
And she was raised with me.
Nice.
But my point being that because I'm also like, I'm a thinker like you and psychologist, whatever. Like I want, like, so why do they all stick there? And then I thought of that, the haka dance, what's it called? I'm like, oh, there's something powerful about it. There's something really good about it. So the reason I'm bringing it up, because I only came to that realization a couple of days ago. And so here's an opportunity to say, you know what? Stick your tongues out. Fight for it. Say your truth.
You guys are gonna do that on Sunday.
Okay. Right.
I'll be definitely letting him stick his tongue out.
My
That
husband might
sounded
not like
naughty.
that.
So he's a married man, but it is West Hollywood. I can't even get date number 2. Thanks, everybody.
I meant it in the fighting way. And
No,
I
yes,
seriously,
the fighting
because
way.
they're
That's how it
warriors.
is.
Got you.
They're warriors. So I meant it actually, I know
Yeah.
that I'm silly a lot, but I meant it actually seriously.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
there is a reason and there is a purpose to do that because like you said, and like we've all said, like Hollywood is still weird. Like all of it is still kind of closeted.
Yeah.
And so we still need to fight. We still need, like, look to the New Zealanders, look to what Jay August just said, look to what we're talking about and fight your truth and stick your tongues out and
I was just trying to do the what's up.
Anyway, on that note, we need to have a round 2 because we have still pages we did not get.
I know.
You got a class to get to. But speaking of empowerment and allyship and being out and proud, you will be joined by Amber Benson for this weekend
So
at West
excited.
Hollywood Pride Parade.
Super
And then
excited.
also, we're going to see you all at Hellmouth Con June 13th
we'll be
and
there.
14th.
We'll be there.
All right.
When
13th and
Sunnydale
14th.
becomes reality. It's actually Torrance High School.
I know. I'm
in
so
SoCal.
excited. I'm gonna get all the photos.
Are you going to be there?
Yes,
We're
we'll be
gonna
there.
be there.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Bring tequila.
I got mine saved.
I know.
You know what?
What's your drink of choice?
Vodka.
It didn't
Okay.
say
Yeah,
that.
always
You're,
vodka.
no, I'm a vodka.
It's always vodka.
I don't know. I like both.
I know, me too. I'm with you.
I know, I can tell.
But thank you both for joining us and sharing your stories. Both of you are great storytellers and great representatives in so many different ways.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
This
thank
was
you
so
so
much fun.
Jay August, where can people find and follow you?
On Instagram is my, the drug of choice. At J August Richards. That's the letter J, no period. August Richards.
Awesome. Stephanie, where can people find and follow you?
At Romanov Stephanie
Yes.
on Instagram.
Insta. Cool.
Thank you, sir.
I know. I didn't get to
And
half
then-
the questions I wanted to ask.
Oh
you.
no. Oh damn. Next time.
We gotta
Well,
do
let's
that.
give a big cheers
That's
to
okay.
Angel.
I'm drinking next time I come back.
Yes,
I
you
promise.
better, you
Have me
better.
back. We'll have
Yes.
a cocktail and we'll really go in.
Yes.
Here's to
Yes.
Angel. And that's been our chat with Stephanie and Jay August. Thank you both. Alrighty, and stay tuned. When we return, we chat with Buffy's Amber Benson.
Yes, Tara.
And to Amber, woo, and to Steven. And to Alexander,
you
and
almost
so
forget
many
my
more
name?
things I
Gentlemen.
wanted to
almost forgot my name.
I know so many personal details about you. Like I'm so sad that we're signing off because we
know.
have a lot of stuff in common.
The party never
we have a whole
ends, though.
other episode we got to
Yeah.
do.
We
now.
Well, that's why it's on the rise.
All right, stay tuned.
Cheers.
Peace.
All right, Buffy heads, we are going to continue to slay.
Yes.
Like how I said that, wink, wink. Introducing, making her debut on The Rocks, actress, writer, director, producer, comic book creator, Amber Benson made her acting debut at the age of 14 in the Steven Soderbergh film King of the Hill. Of course, Buffy fans know her for her recurring role as Tara on the television series Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And it's a universe that continues to take a place in her career throughout many different mediums, to comic books, to audiobooks. She helped progress queer representation with her role as Willow's girlfriend. For that, we are very, very thankful. Yes, girl. She's expanded her career behind the camera, writing, producing, and directing independent feature films. As an accomplished author, she's written several book series, including the Echo Park Coven novels and the Calliope Reaper Jones novels. She also authored graphic novels and expanded the Ghost of Albion universe through various novels and novellas. When does she sleep, girl?
Yeah.
She's also got singing chops, as we heard in the musical episode of Buffy, and also at the VH1 Celebrity Karaoke tribute to Rocky Horror Picture Show.
We just went to Rocky Horror.
We just went to that party last night.
We were there.
As we mentioned, Amber will be joining Stephanie and Jay August in this weekend's West Hollywood Parade and at the Hellmouth Con happening June 13th to the 14th.
See you there.
We will see you there, Amber, where Sunnydale becomes reality at Torrance High School in Southern California. Please welcome the multi-talented Amber Benson.
Hi, you guys. You make me
Wow.
sound way cooler and more prolific than I think I actually am. So
No, girl,
I'll
like printing
take
out
it.
your credits was like a CVS receipt. It just kept going and going and going. I was like, oh my God.
You get $1 off of like women's like toiletries.
We'll bring it into CVS next time we go.
All right, before we dive into Buffy, let's get to know Amber. You know, acting was just such an early part of your life, so much so that your whole family just packed up from Alabama to move to LA to work on your acting full time?
Not really. I know that sounds very whimsical and exciting, but mostly we moved back out because my dad grew up in LA. He's an Angelino, born and bred, and my mom is my dad is Jewish, and my mom is the Shiksa goddess that from Tennessee that he married, and they moved to Alabama to raise their family. Nice place. You don't have to lock the doors. We're the nice mutt Jew kids running around Birmingham, Alabama, saying you guys instead of y'all. But then we ended up moving back to LA because my dad grew up there, and that was his hometown. And I had been pushing to like be in the industry. No one's going to let you direct a movie when you're 13, but they're going to let you, maybe be like a small part in a movie if you're lucky. So I was just like trying to get in there any way I could. I was like, please, Mom, please, Dad.
Now, what sparked that interest to get into acting? Was it a movie you saw as a kid? What was it?
Well, we saw so many. I don't know if this was your childhood experience, but mine was like in the summers, it was so dang hot that like you'd go to the movie theater and then you'd like, I don't want to leave the movie theater. So we'd stay and see another movie. And so my summers were spent with my mom and sister and I going to see all of these amazing movies, like The Goonies. Actually, I wanted to see The Ghoulies and my mom was like, no, but there's a movie called The Goonies. I'll take you to that. So I like fell in love with movies, going to see movies in the summertime. And then I was like I had a lot of energy as a child. And so my mom put me in everything, gymnastics, ballet, singing, whatever she could put me in to make me go to sleep at night because I was so worn out. And I fell in love with the acting. She put me in an acting class and I loved it. And I was like, this is where it's at. People do this for you. yeah, the narcissism and ego was strong even then. So yeah, I fell in love with it, and you get to be somebody else for a little while. It's like joining the circus. I love it.
But being 14 and landing your first screen debut role in a Soderbergh film, I mean, that's remarkable. What was your audition process for that film?
So I knew who he was because I was a big cinephile as a teenager. So I had seen Sex, Lies, and Videotape. And I knew exactly who he was. And I auditioned for the casting director. And she's like, I'm going to have you come back and meet Steven. And all we did when I met him was talk about how neither of us wanted to fly. We like to ride trains. And I just auditioned for him. We talked about riding trains and then didn't hear anything for a long time. And all of a sudden they called and they're like, hey, you're going to St. Louis, Missouri. You're going to work on this film. You got the part. And it was incredible. He's amazing. I like a ding dong. I remember sitting next to him on the shuttle going from the hotel to where we were shooting. I'm like, what makes a good director? And he's like, oh my God. He's like, cast well. And it was the best piece of advice I ever got. Cast your movie, your film, your commercial, your whatever you're doing, cast well.
So you weren't daunted like the first day on set with all the cameras, the crew and everything?
No, I was like, this is where I belong. This is,
You just fit right in.
Norma Desmond.
Yeah. And it is like being part of a family. It's like joining the circus and all of a sudden you're part of the flying trapeze artist act and you have a little ready-made family and then you're friends with the elephants and you're friends, you just make friends with the crew. You have this cast that you're part of a whole like world with. I was so curious. I was like, how do the cameras work? What are the lights like? How does this all? I was just fascinated by the whole thing. I loved it.
Now, looking back, are you happy you got into the business at such an early age, or do you wish you would have waited a little bit?
I'm happy that I've always been able to make a living doing the thing that I love, and I think a lot of times, starting young and just putting yourself in there, kind of gives you a little bit of a leg up. But I also am a big reader, and I loved school. I weirdly liked writing papers. So I think I would have enjoyed going to college. I got accepted to UC Berkeley, and I I didn't go. And part of me is like, well, that could have been a really different road. I'd be probably teaching Celtic mythology or something.
Yeah, I was about to say, what would you have studied at Berkeley?
I was obsessed with mythology. There's a mythologist named Joseph Campbell who passed away, but he wrote The Hero with a Thousand Faces, my headphone cord, bad headphone cord. And so they did like this whole special on PBS. Bill Moyers interviewed him up at Skywalker Ranch, and he talks about mythology and how mythological stories from all the different sort of parts of the world all have these things in common, more things in common than not in common. I fell in love with it. I thought it was so cool. But I learned later, I was like, oh, it's not the mythology I love, it's the storytelling. Yeah. So I think the writing was always what I was meant to do. That's the thing I enjoy the most. You're like God in charge of this little group of characters on a page. It's wonderful.
Well, and storytelling is just such a big part of everything that you do.
Well, it's a part of what we do as human beings. Like social media is storytelling. What you guys is storytelling. Like we're always telling stories. Every part of like the human experience is sort of built around storytelling. So it's sort of embedded into how we live our lives.
I'm not sure I'm doing a story, maybe like a pamphlet.
A warning.
A haiku, if you will. Amber, okay, let's talk a little Buffy. What was your relationship to the show before auditioning for it?
Yeah.
I had seen a couple of episodes because I knew Allison Hannigan from before she was on the show. And so, of course, when somebody you know is on a show, you always want to like support. So I had watched a little bit, sort of be like, yay, Allison. And then I auditioned for it and ended up with the part. So I was not as prepared as it could have been. I should have watched more is really what I had only seen a few.
And did you have any trepidation in, number one, being in such a genre-specific type of acting style? And number two, representing the queer community. At that time, that was pretty risky.
So I love horror. I love fun, campy things, and Buffy encompasses both of those things. It's also very smart too. Like the dialogue is so clever, and the storytelling is really thoughtful. There's multi layers to it. So I was not at all like nervous about jumping into like the genre world. And what's bananas about the whole thing is that it was supposed to be 2 episodes. It was 2 episodes. The character was a friend for Willow from the Wicca group. There was nothing about them being a couple. There was nothing about continuation. It was really just like, I was like, oh, I'm going to do 2 episodes. I'm going to work with Allie. I'm going to work with Seth, who I knew. And I was like, this is going to be awesome. It's going to be so much fun working with people, and then I'll be done. And during the 2nd episode, someone in the crew came up to me and Allie, and they were like, you guys have such incredible chemistry. And we're like, oh, thanks, Bull. Totally over our heads.
Right.
It was only later that Joss took each of us aside and was like, hey, we really love the sort of chemistry between these characters. Wow. And we want to make you guys girlfriends. So I had no idea that was where the character was going to be heading.
Right.
It's funny, like back then, it wouldn't have, I don't think I would have thought twice about it, honestly. I was like, great, awesome. Whatever, I'm an actor, I play everything. I think only like now looking back sort of with this idea of like, sort of representation and appropriation that I think, well, in some ways that maybe it would have been better if they had actually gotten a queer person to portray Tara McClay. But back then that was not even a topic of conversation.
Right.
No one ever was like, oh, is that you were, So, yeah, I think now, like I look back and I'm like, I want to be as much of an ally as I can, but I also feel funny in a way that I played her when someone else could have, with more of a true representation.
It was cool in the series that they used kind of witchcraft in a way as like to mirror like her, Willow discovering herself as, a lesbian and a person like that. But was it fun for you as, because you said that you originally only had like 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And then as Tara's character progressed throughout the season, and what I wanted to ask you is about, the Tara's family storyline. When we had that whole episode where they showed up, I think Amy Adams played your sister.
Yeah, she was my cousin Beth.
Yeah, cousin Beth. That's right. And the whole connection where they told you, they told her that she was a demon, so that the men in the family could control her. And so like, how was that like playing that? Because I know that was like really when they really highlighted Tara for the first time as a character.
Yeah, it was really interesting because Joss Whedon was working on the script like right up until we started shooting. So we didn't actually get the whole thing. So we were kind of like getting pieces of it as we were going, and things kept getting rewritten. And I think it was a very intense thing for him to write and to work on. But looking back at it, I mean, it really, the fact that it still resonates now, that people are still like that, we're at a place in our lives in 2026 where we are regressing, we're going backward, that we're living in a time when it's not okay to be who we are as people, like whatever it is that you are, like right. Buffy was way ahead of its time. I'll just put it that way. And I'm bummed that like when I watch Family now, I see that storyline is still totally
happening today.
It's frustrating. But like you were saying before, the idea that using magic to sort of talk about gender and sexuality and queerness, I think it was really smart, because I think, you know, we use television to sell laundry detergent. We can use television to sell this idea that everybody is perfect as they are. If you're straight, queer, non-binary, trans, whatever you are perfect as you are. And I think Buffy, people that watched Buffy, maybe at first they didn't understand what was going on, but by the end they were like, well, I may not know any lesbians here in, Iowa, but gosh darn, I do love that Willow and Tara. I think I love lesbians.
Right.
You know,
it
like
was huge.
Like it's huge,
Yeah.
and it allowed people who I think otherwise would be uncomfortable to not be uncomfortable and to kind of ease into it and come to the conclusion that yeah, I love these characters. So why am I being biased toward the real people in the real world who are queer or not like whoever, not straight, white Christian? You know what I mean?
So Amber,
was
when you
really
found out
important.
about the queer storyline, what was the most important for you as an actor to convey through the storyline? What did you want to show most?
I so badly didn't want to mess it up. Number one, I felt like
A lot
it
of
was
pressure,
really.
girl. We're watching.
No, to me it felt really, really, really important when you get letters from
And there was
kids
not a lot of storylines like that happening at the time.
There weren't. There. I think Ellen had her kiss, which was, a big deal. In fact, my hometown of Birmingham, Alabama, didn't air that episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and we know that her career was canceled right after that. Her show ended, and for years, her career was, was gone.
Blacklisted for a while.
But that was the first thing. And then there, here and there shows would like dabble in it. Like, oh, two girls kissing. Isn't that sexy? Like that's not what this is like. And Buffy was the opposite of that. What was really important, I think, to Allison and myself is that they were two people who happened to be women, who happened to be in love, who treated each other with respect and empathy and compassion and love until it kind of she had her breakdown. But I felt like we were the best relationship on the show for a really long time, and it was really important. And when we did the body episode where we kissed for the first time, it was a long time getting there. In fact, they were like, the censors were like, you can't do all this stuff. Like Buffy and Spike are like hooking up on a sarcophagus, and we can't hold hands, we can't like kiss, we can't. And both of us were kind of peeved about it. And someone on the crew took us aside who was queer, and they were like, no, the important thing is that you are going into people's homes every week and you're showing them that being a lesbian is just a normal thing. It's not, it's totally normal. Like, you are changing people's perceptions, and that is what's important. So I think the takeaway for me is that was what was important about that relationship, is that it really was just two people who could have been any gender, any sexual preference, and they fell in love, and it changed people's perceptions because they were lesbians. Like, it changed people's minds.
I love that. Girl, we love your allyship.
I know.
So I think Steven has some fun,
Yeah, so
some Buffy stuff.
Yeah, I just wanted to do like two like funny questions just like to end this with. But so who's the top, Willow or Tara?
I feel like they like to switch it up. They're switch hitters.
Sisters.
All right. And then we have Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Oh gosh.
Buffy, Cordelia, and Harmony.
Oh man, I guess you'd have to fuck Cordelia, marry Buffy, and kill Harmony.
Poor Harmony.
I mean, really, we should just fuck them all because they're all incredibly beautiful, amazing ladies. So marry them all, fuck them all.
Love that.
Now, the Buffyverse continues to be a big part of your life, like I said, through comic books, through audio stories. What is it about the Buffy universe that still compels you to be involved? What do you love most about being a part of it?
I think it's some of the friendships that I've made from my time on the show, and the fact that like it benefits all of us when the show kind of has like a little bit of resurgence, and it's fun, and we get to be together. It was so much fun to make Slayer's a Buffyverse story for Audible. My friend Christopher Golden and I co-wrote it and co-directed it with our producer Casey Weiland. And to get to have a room full of your buddies, like come and hang out in a studio and reprise roles from back in the day. Yeah. It's incredible. Like there's James Marsters and Juliette Landau, and they're like doing their Drusilla Spike, like flirty, like seductive stuff. And it's like right there in front of you. You're like, it's still as hot and incredible as it was. Character. Yeah. So getting to hang out with my friends and continue to like, be part of that universe and those characters together is what's fun.
And we'll be seeing you at Hellmouth Con.
Yes.
What do you love most about doing the cons and talking to the fans?
Hearing people's stories. I say that like, so people will come up and they'll tell you a story about their experience with Buffy. And I'm like, well, it's kind of like we're friends because I had an experience with Buffy too. So like we're all having this experience with Buffy. It's all different versions of experiences, but we had them together. The show kind of brings us all together and creates this like family, friend sort of like universe. And if you've seen the show, it's like you have the shorthand. So to get to talk to people and hear their stories, I really enjoy that.
With all of your independent film work, what kind of legacy do you want to build with your work? What kind of stories do you want to continue to tell? Basically, what kind of legacy do you want to build with everything that you do?
Oh man, that's
just a small question.
Right?
I don't know if
just the easy one.
If it's like this for you, but I spend a lot of time just like chasing work to pay bills. So sometimes I'm like, legacy? Oh crap, I have a legacy I gotta think about? Oh no. I've just been doing whatever pays that's not completely obscene or bizarre. No, I take that back. Maybe a little obscene and bizarre is in there as well. But yeah, I guess I love telling stories in whatever capacity, whether that's as a performer or a writer or filmmaker or a novelist, whatever, or a comic book writer. I love telling stories, and I love the idea that people get to like go on that journey with me. And so I guess that's my legacy, is that I've created a lot of content out there. And if you want to like get to know me and go on a journey, then it's available to you. And I got to do that. I got to make all that stuff for you.
And this weekend, we're going to be seeing you in the West Hollywood Pride Parade. We're very excited for that.
Yes.
What is your message to the LGBTQ community, being such a fierce ally?
My message is we will get through this. It's awful right now. Sorry, it's very emotional and upsetting that, sorry. We're going to get through it. That like this crap is going to change. Like it can't keep going like this. I can't live like this. It's awful. And I am just like, I am lucky that I live in Los Angeles and I'm not bearing the brunt of this. But a lot of people I know, a lot of people that I love are having to deal with really awful things. And just be there for your community, support the people you love. If you see somebody in need near you, like support them, be there. I think that's what I'm sending out to the world as I do my Princess Diana wave from
Slay, girl, slay. All right, Stephen, did you have any other? He's the Buffy head
I know,
here.
I am, but like, I feel like we ran out of time because like what I would go into would go too into depth into things. But I did want to talk about Tara's death, and what I wanted to know is if Tara did not die, how do you think that she would have survived the final battle at Hellmouth? I personally think that she probably would have saved Anya.
Yeah, that would not have happened the way that happened. I think if Tara had been around. No, it's funny. There's sometimes I do cameos, which is a banana. That is a bananas thing. That's a whole thing. But there's a guy who like my cameos to him. He gives me like some thoughts, and we talk about like what Tara and Willow are doing now, and they like live in this little like cottage by a lake, and there's lots of little goats and cats, and there's knitting.
They are witches.
Yeah, there's knitting going on, and it's a safe place for anybody who is queer or non-binary or trans to come and be a part of their life. They need a place to be. There's a lot of baking going on, a lot of bread and pies, and it's just a very idyllic. Dawn comes and hangs out
Witches
on the
in the woods
weekends.
baking. That sounds sounds
so
familiar.
So that's what we talk. We talk about it, and I was like, I love that future. I love that is something, and I like to think in the alternate world, the multiverse theory,
Right?
That is happening. I love that idea.
Well, it has been such a joy to chat with you. Thank you for spending some time with us. Where can people find and follow you? I don't want to try to give out your Instagram name because it's...
No, I'm terrible. I'm terrible with the social media. To be honest with you, it got so caustic that I kind of stepped away from it. But I lurk here and there. I still like post to Instagram occasionally. I didn't do it right. You're supposed to do it right. You're supposed to go like, Amber Benson, actor, blah, blah, blah. Mine is my name backwards. It's Revma_Nozneb. That's my handle on Instagram.
Oh, you.
Yeah.
That's so Amber.
Yeah. So Amber. Oh, she does not do any of this correctly. So yeah, I did not do social media right. I was trying to be funny.
I thought I was dyslexic.
Yeah, I probably, yeah.
Well, Amber, thank you for your allyship. We will see you at the West Hollywood Pride Parade. We'll see you at Hellmouth Con, June 13th and 14th. It's happening at Torrance High School in Southern California. Yep. Sunnydale has made Rio. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you both so much. This was a pleasure.
That's all, folks. It's always a grab bag of fun here every weekend on The Rocks. Big thank you to our engineer, Xavier, and our Straw Hut Studios.
Yes, please like, share, and subscribe so we can continue bringing this fabulous programming coming your way. Until next time.
Stay happy, stay healthy, stay sexy, and if you drink,
stay tipsy.
This has been another episode of On the Rocks. Tweet me and slide into my DMs on Twitter and Instagram at On the Rocks On Air. Find everything On the Rocks for free at OnTheRocksRadioshow.com. Subscribe, like, review, and share. Until next week, stay fabulous.